Laws of exponents dividing monomials, lesson 4.3 notes, example number 4, E and F. Okay, so once again, the outside exponent is the last step. Do everything that you can inside the parentheses first. So what can I do inside the parentheses first? I can divide first. Okay, so I'm going to start by dividing negative 3 over 6. Negative 3 over 6 as a fraction is negative 1/2. Now, I don't want to put a 1 if I don't have to. So instead of putting the negative 1 on top, I'm going to put the negative with the 6 on the bottom. If you want to put negative 1 on top and a 2 on the bottom, that's fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross out the negative 3 and say that's where the 1 would go. Cross out the 6. I'm going to make that negative 2. Because again, the negative 2, or the 2 would go in the denominator. All right, a to the second. That has the smaller exponent. 5 minus 2 is 3. There's not a b in the denominator, so I don't mess with the b. I have a c to the 9th and c to the 4th, so that would be my next step. C to the 4th gets completely crossed out, and 9 minus 4 is 5. There's only a d in the denominator, so I don't need to worry about doing anything with that. So now remember, whatever was in the numerator stays in the numerator. Whatever's in the denominator stays in the denominator. So I have in the numerator a to the 3rd, b to the 7th, and c to the 5th. A to the 3rd, b to the 7th, c to the 5th. In the denominator, I have negative 2 d squared. I'm going to move that over a little bit. So again, in the denominator, what I have left is negative 2 d squared. And now all of that is to the 3rd power. All of that is to the 3rd power. Now that I've simplified everything on the inside, now I can apply that outside exponent. So now I can do my power of a fraction. Well, I don't have the only numerator that's, the only coefficient in the numerator is a positive 1. So remember, when your coefficient is a positive 1, you can ignore it. In the bottom, I do have the coefficient of negative 2, so I'm going to write that off to the side to the 3rd power. Okay, so now, move this line up a little bit. So now I'm ready to apply the exponent. So 3 times 3 would give me 8 to the 9th. Three times 7 would give me b to the 21st. Three times 5 would give me c to the 15th. That took care of the numerator. On the bottom, I'm going to start with my negative 2 to the 3rd power. Negative 2 cubed is negative 8. So I'm going to move that negative out front, put the 8 on the bottom, and now the last thing I need to do is multiply the 2 times the 3 to get my d to the 6th. So my final answer is negative a to the 9th, b to the 21st, c to the 15th, over 8, d to the 6th. Okay, so f. We're going to do f the same way we just did e. We have to simplify what's inside the parentheses first. So inside the parentheses, well, the coefficient on the bottom is a positive 1. Well, negative 2 over 1 is going to stay negative 2, so I don't need to worry about my coefficients. And the only like variables I have are the end terms. So that's the only thing I need to worry about dividing. So, oops. Over here, write divide, because that's going to be our first step. So n to the second would get completely crossed out, and 6 minus 2 is 4. So in my numerator, I have negative 2, m to the 11th, n to the 4th. In the denominator, I have p to the 18th. And all of that is to the second power. I simplified everything I possibly can inside the parentheses, so now it's time to apply this exponent, which means we're going to do power of a fraction. So I'm going to take negative 2, and I'm going to square it. And I'm going to multiply 2 times 11. Then I'm going to multiply 2 times 4. And last, I will multiply the 2 times the 18. So I'm going to start with that negative 2 squared. Put the negative 2 in parentheses. Very important that you do so, because that is an even exponent, which means it's going to be a positive 4. (11 times 2 would give me m to the 22nd. (2 times 4 would give me n to the 8th. And then on the bottom, 2 times the 18 would give me p to the 36th. Okay, so that is it for example number 4. If you have any questions on any problems in example 4, please do not hesitate to ask.